Welcome back to the Women's Rugby Pod during these special episodes during the Women's World Cup 2025. And if those of you who've been listening and watching through the tournament, we haven't dealt with too many players, leaving them to deal with the rugby and what have you. But the special treat today, Erin King
Hello.
is on the pod.
Hello,
Live,
how
look at
are you?
her, fully stashed up. She's in the
Got
high
that.
performance centre. You're back out on the pitch, Erin. Hey, lovely to see you. Thanks for coming on. And yeah, great
Yeah.
news. You're back on the pitch and back running.
Yeah, well, back almost running, kind of doing the drilling, the steps before you start running, but it was nice to be back out where I feel like I belong.
Wearing green, running on the green. Now look, you stole some collagen from a pig to put into your knee. Is there a pig sort of limping around sort of in Ireland somewhere now?
I, something like that. I don't know. I didn't actually know until after a couple of weeks after the surgery, but yeah, I had a big operation and I'm 5 months, almost 6 months post-operation now, so things are starting to move, which is great because it was a very unusual, unique injury, and things were a little bit uncertain, but it's moving in the right direction, so very positive.
Well, clearly is, and I've seen from your socials and what have you, and so trying to get hold of you for doing this pod, which we're very grateful for. You took yourself away and got away for a little bit as well, which I guess is really important to recharge batteries mentally and physically.
Yeah, 100%. I think like obviously with long-term injuries, especially when you're missing, such big events that you could be a part of, it's tough. And yeah, I just, for the start of the World Cup, I went over to Vietnam for 10 days. I did a little solo trip, and it's something that I would have never done before, or I guess if I was playing rugby, gotten the experience to do. And oh, when I came back, I was so glad I did it. I was worried about the rehab, worried about taking the time off, but it actually did the world of good for my knee. And it's probably good to speak about things like that. I think there's a lot of pressure when you're in rehab to like just keep going with it and be mentally strong, but it's okay to kind of be open that you're not, and to say that, oh, I need to take a bit of time off, and it's the best thing that I did, and since then I've kind of been progressing even quicker.
Good for you. Power to the people. Absolutely. Look, off the back of being really positive about it today, I mean, it must be difficult, right? How much have you been sort of gripping the sofa or the chair, going, "Oh, I just want to get out there," because look, the scenes have been wonderful. It's been a brilliant World Cup, but
Yeah.
you're incredibly young. You'll be a part of the next two, three, whatever. So, but just how sort of itching have you been to get out there?
Yeah, like I'd be lying if I said I wasn't, incredibly jealous, like the sold out stadiums and the scenes. And, the girls have been doing us so proud, and I would have given anything to be out there with them. Myself and Dorothy Wall actually presented the girls their jerseys on Saturday before the game. And yeah, we spoke about that. We spoke about, how you can never take wearing that green jersey for granted, and how so many people would give anything to be in their position. And I think they did go out on Sunday and show like that they weren't taking them jerseys for granted, and they did go out and, give it everything. So yeah, we've still been so included in the squad. Like Scott and the staff have been so great and really kept us involved, which has made it a lot easier. But yeah, we're lucky that the both of us are quite young, so hopefully we'll get to it, we'll get to a couple World Cups in the future.
Oh, look, there's so much to pick up on there. Yeah, you're presenting the jerseys. It's just down from my collagen pig line here on my neck. Look, how special was that? Because I guess you're not playing, you're not involved, and I know, yeah, I've known Scott for a long time, and I know what a sort of earnest type chap he is. So I know that he probably would have sort of included you in some way. But how special is that to present the girls with a quarter final jersey?
Yeah, I like when they kind of when the team manager got on to us to ask, like like felt a lot of pressure just before. I was more nervous to present them the jerseys than I've ever been for any game I've ever played. Yeah, it was a huge honor, and to be a part of, it's just to be a part of that was amazing, and I think it's something that I'll never forget. And there was a lot of tears and things like that, so it felt like it meant a lot to the girls that we were there as well, which was really nice. And it just kind of, we speak about that green wave a lot, and that's our team, and that's, our tight bond. And I really felt it on Saturday.
Hey, look, it's a World Cup full of tears and emotion. Don't hide away from that. I spent the entire
Yeah.
first weekend crying my eyes out the scenes and the crowds and all the rest of it. Um,
Yeah.
it- but no, never shy away from that kind of stuff. That's wow, that's what powerful stuff. If
Yeah.
we can just sort of take a step back, I know we're talking about you sort of being within the camp there, but okay, we're early days. What, Tuesday after the Sunday game? What's the overriding feeling from the Green Waves campaign in this World Cup? You know, from not qualifying for a World Cup last time round and some pretty dark days in between to
Yeah.
literally millimeters away from getting to a semi-final. Is it frustration? Is it relief? Is it pride? Where are your emotions right now?
I think, well, personally, I'm so proud of the girls. Like they've, like you said, like we didn't qualify for the last World Cup, and I think these past 2 years, everyone has seen the growth in this team, and the work that we've put in is finally paying off. Like obviously, there's a huge sense of frustration there because do believe we were the better team on the day, and I know the scoreline obviously, it doesn't show that per se, but we came out in that first half with so much energy, and like we were so dominant, and we were very unfortunate not to score before that half time. And I think if we did, it would have been a very different game to go into half time 20-0 up. I don't think they would have been able to bridge that gap, but then to let them go ahead and score 18 points unanswered, like you just obviously it just wasn't good enough. And yeah, so I think very frustrating, but overall very, very proud. And to get to the quarterfinal and almost get to a semi-final, like be that close to, we're trying to bridge that gap between us and the top four teams. And I think that gap is definitely getting bridged.
Look, I don't want to get too much of the weeds of the game because it's a controversial game. There is
Yeah.
ongoing um, disciplinary matters. Two French players have been given bans, and personally, I'm allowed to give my opinion because I'm certainly not wearing a green jacket. Um, Rightly so. That kind of behaviour is just not acceptable in a rugby field or any sporting field. But I'll just go back to that, as you say, just before half time. It's 30 plus phases.
Yeah.
That that was the moment, wasn't it? Because you got the conditions behind you. That was the moment you had to score because 13 probably wasn't going to be enough because France could do what France did when they got like the likes of Greasy on the field, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like I think we were, as them phases were playing, I was thinking, I was like, if we score now, we've got this game. But just the momentum shift from our tired, like we were so tired then going into half time. We then, wasted 6 minutes of a yellow card. There was so many we needed to score off them phases. And then France obviously took all that energy from their defensive efforts and the fact that we didn't score, and they brought that into the second half. And yeah, definitely frustrating. And obviously, yeah, we've talked about the ref and things like that. And you obviously can't blame the ref, but I think if things had been spotted and actions had been taken during the game, maybe it would have looked different. So that's frustrating as well, I think.
Yeah, look, we're all on this wave, excuse me, of just how amazing this World Cup is, and I think everybody would agree, especially if, like me, you were back in 2006, 2010, and there's one man and his dog watching. In fact, one woman and his dog watching. To see the scenes we've got now, and but for me, the biggest thing is the improvement of teams, and that's across the board. It's not just the top five, six. It's all the way down to all the Fijis and Japans and
Yeah.
Brazils and all the rest of it. The improvement has been quite significant. Clearly, Ireland's on an upward trajectory, and bar a couple, you're going to have a majority of that squad going into the next World Cup, aren't you? It's the future does look. This green wave is only going to continue, is it not?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think majority of our team are, under 25. Like there's a big group of us that played growing up together. I know I played underage with Aoife Dalton, Ruth Campbell, Vicky Arms Kinlan. There's a big group of us that are just 21. So, we're only getting started. I think this is just the beginning, and I don't think no one's retiring, I don't think. So it's looking very positive. I think the green wave's going to stick together, and we're just going to keep growing. And I don't see why we can't beat the likes of France and really push England in the Six Nations coming up, because we've got a good bit of time together now. And yeah, it's very positive. And I think we'll definitely get to a semi-final in that next World Cup. Like how close we got to it in this one. And I mean, 2 years ago, we probably wouldn't have thought we would have got out of the pools, and to, run it that close to France. It's just, yeah, it's very positive.
Yeah, Dubai in WX3, right?
Yeah,
WX3, and
yeah,
you're moments away from a World Cup semi-final. Look, I just going to just push you slightly to talk about a couple of individuals, if I may, because you talk
yeah,
about that group of youngsters, which yeah, playing at age group stuff and moving up to season. Obviously, it's really important when you're looking around and you know people not on a personal level, at playing level as well. I think Scott Beeman had to take some credit and possibly putting words in your mouth here, but to blending that together with the likes of Sam Monahan and Tricky Adamman and those kind of more experienced players, and then you're chucking out Perry as well, who's a very seasoned campaigner.
yeah.
That squad, as I say, looks like it's been very well built, not only for now but for the future.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even off pitch, like our culture was a really big thing that we've worked on. Obviously, like 2, 3 years ago, it wasn't in a good place, and everyone knows that. And I know when I first came into the squad, it was brilliant. Like, the likes of Sam and Tricky, they're great leaders, and they really have worked on our team culture and how close the team has gotten. I think you can see it when we play together, how close the team are. Like, we're all best friends. And um, yeah, and the staff have been brilliant. They've worked on it, and they've built this squad, and we push each other. And there's actually competition in the squad now. I think a few years ago you would have been able to predict what the team was going to be, but I'm lucky enough I've come into a squad with some of the best back rowers in the world, and they're only pushing me on and making me better, and hopefully I'm doing the same to them.
Yeah, and just speak if you were. I mean, Sam Monahan. There are some outstanding leaders around that. Rachel Malcolm. I've waxed lyrical about for years and years and years. But Sam Monahan at the weekend and her post match interviews were absolutely first class. What's she like to play in and around?
I mean, unfortunately, I actually haven't I haven't played with Sam yet.
Oh, apologies.
When I came
Trained
into
with her,
this,
then trained with her.
yeah, yeah, I've
You can get
tried.
a sense of her, right?
Oh, like she's an inspiration to me personally. She's gone through like a lot of long-term injuries, and when I first came into the squad, she was out with her ACL, but she was still at every single training session. She helped me so much. Like, for someone who was just freshly injured, constantly helping me with the line outs, anything I needed, she was there for me. And even more so now, she texts me all the time, even when she's off at her World Cup. You think we'd be the last thing on their minds, but constantly checking in, and that just shows you the type of person she is. And then as a leader, she's just, yeah, I can't really put it into words. She's so good at what she does, and she leads by example. She's an amazing player. And then, yeah, off pitch, she keeps everyone, together, and is a reason that we are so close knit. And she checks in on everyone. Like, I don't think you could say a bad word about her. We're very, very lucky to have her as our captain. And um I can't wait to the day that we get to play together, because she's an amazing player as well.
Amazing. Captain of the Green Wave. Look, we're
Yeah,
going into the semi-finals. It's the top four in the world.
yeah,
Um, Friday
it's
night,
exciting.
Canada against New Zealand.
Yeah.
Where do you see that one going? And I'm not going to ask for a score. I'm not that nasty. Where do you see
Score,
that one
yeah.
going?
I think it'll
Oh
be. I
man,
do think I'm excited to see New Zealand be put against their paces a little bit. They've had it quite easy up until now, if I do say so. Obviously I don't think the game against us, the scoreline fully reflected how we did. We played better than I think the scoreline reflected. However, it was still a 40-0 win.
They meant that
So
as well. They properly meant that, didn't they? We
yeah,
did
I
not
think
like being losing to you last year.
revenge was definitely, yeah, served. But I do think New Zealand will have Canada.
Mm,
Canada have been very good. Obviously they've got some amazing athletes, and yeah, they're one of the best teams in the world. But I do think New Zealand just have something that Canada don't, and I think it'll be a tough battle now, but I do think New Zealand will get the win.
really?
Or are you
Oh,
Canada? You're
well,
Canada.
I've gone quite heavily Canada
Yeah,
for a pre-World Cup, if I'm honest.
yeah.
And I'm a kind of man of my word, so I'm probably going to have to stick there. 100% set piece. D's
I would love to see
amazing.
Canada. I would love to see Canada win.
Just think they won't get, and I always think possibly makes a better final because they're the team that's going to get least bullied by England. And
Yeah.
anyway, we digress. England up against France. France, who, let's be honest, been fairly shocking a World Cup, and only pretty much played for 15 minutes against you guys.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think France have had a great World Cup, if I'm
But
being
it's
completely
France.
honest. But yeah, but it's France, and like you've seen what they could do in the second half against us. They've got some absolute flyers, and all it takes is one length of the pitch try, and you're back in a game. So anything can happen, and obviously they ran it really close to England in the Six Nations. I think there was 1 point in it, so that obviously changes the situation that they know how to play against England. But I do think England have been absolutely outstanding, and they are, the best team in the world for a reason at the moment. And they just have so much depth, and who knows what the squad will be. I don't know, like who they go for their starting 10, blah blah blah. Like you can say that about so many positions. They're just absolutely stacked, and like it's a home World Cup, and the momentum behind it, and the sold out crowds. I think that'll all stand to them. So yeah, I'll have to go with England, unfortunately.
And then who lifts the cup? England or New Zealand?
I'll go with England again as well.
Yeah, you don't want to get yeah, you've got some English teammates. So yeah. Oh, no, brilliant, Erin. Thank you so much. It's been absolutely brilliant. We've taken enough of your time. You've been really, really kind.
Thank you
So
very much.
glad you're on your, what did you call them? Spikes, did you say?
So, um,
Your stacks. What was it before you're running?
oh, it's called drilling.
Drilling. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
Okay.
exciting stuff, riveting stuff.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I got bad news. I've never heard drilling before. So look, good luck with your drilling.
Thank you very
Good luck
much.
with your pig's knee, and
I appreciate it.
it's been great to chat to you. You take care.
Lovely to chat to you. See you later.